All right. Let's see. Who makes better movies? Marvel versus DC. Middle ground. All right. Let's do it. So put it in my watch later so I know where it is. All right. Let's watch it. Why not? Let's see what happens. My consensus. I mean, in terms of movies, it's definitely Marvel. DC makes better TV shows. Although now, I don't know, because Disney Plus, Marvel is making some pretty good TV shows. But they're obviously streamed. We'll see. Plus, the like Iron Fist and all those are on Netflix like ages ago, and they are really good. But this is movies, so let's see what they say.
Before we start this video, we just want to take a moment to say that
Nope.
even started Jubilee Media, so I enjoy.
The original Spider-Man were not good. Like, I grew up watching those, and I was not a huge fan.
The Tobey
No.
What?
Yeah.
How
Tobey.
dare she? Nah, she's high. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was amazing. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is amazing. I have good TV shows. Yeah, they do have some good TV
I look
shows.
back at my
Because they're on the
fandom since
CW.
I was tiny. You know, the biggest impact I think for me has been Batman. When people really know comics, they know what DC's bringing to the table.
I could see how
That's
they
fair.
can
DC comics are
defend
really good.
like their video games and their comics, but I don't know how they're gonna back up the movies.
No shade, but their movies aren't that great.
Ultimately,
I
you
agree.
see a very cookie-cutter pattern of how Marvel makes their films versus DC, which is super gritty, super dark.
I will die on
That's
a hill
true.
of really
DC is very
apologizing
dark.
and loving some of these new movies more than most people should.
I think my only expectation really is to kind of understand, where the other side's coming from. How do they connect with someone like Superman, who to me has the personality of a brick?
Chat, after this, I'll give you my complete take. I'll give you my complete take after the video. This seems
My
pretty
name is
interesting. though.
Ryan. I'm a philosophy major at university. I studied art history as well. The more I think about it, those things tie in a lot for the reason why I love comics so much.
Hey, I'm Will. I'm a lifelong, I would say comic book fan, but really DC Homer, as my friend would call me. Apologist, some would say, to a certain degree.
I'm Matt, and I am as well a DC guy. I'm actually trying to get into voice acting and voiceover. Like watching all these animated shows and whatnot, it's really inspiring to see all these characters come to life through voice and whatnot, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Marvel's pretty much always been like my favorite genre of movies. I love watching all the movies. I really love cinematography and I love how they're always played out. So yeah, I'm a Marvel fan.
I'm Nick, and I like Marvel so much that I bought a 3D printer and started printing a bunch of props for it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Stormbreaker, sitting in my room,
That's
not doing
sick.
anything.
I'm Chris. I'm a Marvel fan. I wish I could say super fan. Just within the recent years, I've been getting like deep and deeper into it. So there's some things I may not know about, but I'm cultured around the area, so I can get around.
All right, valid. Let's see.
Marvel
Yeah,
is
it should be.
only considered better because of the movies. Walk forward if you agree.
Marvel's only considered better because of the movies. That's
Unless
fair.
they're comic book fanatics, I don't hear anybody talking about the comics, let alone the shows, even the games or anything. I only hear the movies.
Thank you for being the only one here, by the way. Because it is challenging, I think, right now to be a DC fan because of that feeling.
Yeah, 'cause
Socially,
the movies,
the conversation
Marvel
is
movies are way
Marvel.
better.
So extremely that every time DC puts out a movie, it's like almost expected that you're supposed to shit on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, absolutely
it's
true.
not as good. They did it
That's
wrong.
true.
Now, have they stumbled along
They-
the way?
a lot of
Tons
CG
times.
focus.
But I get this feeling that no one's entering into seeing a DC movie to just be
Bad
vulnerable and
acting.
experience what they're being given.
And it's recency bias, right? Because Christopher Reeve with Superman launched, but then you also think about the Batmans with Michael
That's
Keaton
true.
and Jack Nicholson.
Those
and-
old
and
Batman
then
movies
even
are
Batman
great.
Forever with Val Kilmer. Maybe not so much after that, but there was no Marvel movies at the time.
The Dark Knight kind of
That's
faded
real.
into,
No, he's right.
into the background when people talk about DC.
Dark
movies.
Knight is
Like,
so
those are
good. Dark
great
Knight trilogy is
films.
amazing.
I mean, we don't have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my opinion, without Batman Begins.
All right, disagreeers, come forward.
I agree. I totally agree. That was a good take. That was a good
Did you
take.
forget we were here?
Because the Dark Knight trilogy
Movies,
is
the
S
TV
tier.
shows, the video games, the comic books, the books. When you oversimplify it to one aspect, you're immediately erasing thousands of people's hard work and not giving them the credit that they
Oh, shut the
deserve
fuck up, man. This guy's like,
as they add.
this guy's
to the
like
rest
being
of
like
the pie.
I guess I'm thinking, could you
yeah, it's like
argue
SJW
that
for Marvel.
simply
It's weird.
because of the MCU, more people care? It used
Absolutely.
to be that to be a nerd back,
Absolutely.
even in the 90s, because I love
That's
Spider-Man, X-Men,
absolutely
all that stuff
true.
in the 90s. Doing cosplay, when I was doing cosplay, people yelling at me, saying stupid, dressing
Marvel
as all kinds of
opened
stuff.
up the
Now
door
cosplayers get millions of followers
for all
like on
this.
Instagram. The MCU actually made nerds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I think of
Real.
better, I think like, kind of to your point, detracts from all the like suffering of the nerds that got kicked and shoved in their closets. Yeah.
to get here.
So now that the MCU exists, I'm like, oh, now you want to say it's cool. Okay, fine, yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe some of the comics do better than some of the Marvel stuff that is out. Like with all the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man were not good. Like I grew up watching those
Shut
and
up.
I was not a huge fan.
Who is this girl?
No. Yeah, Toby.
What?
I did not.
What? The Sam Raimi film?
He's
She
worth
gotta
the
stop, man.
I
Tobey
see those
Maguire's Spider-Man
movies
was
as like
amazing. For real.
corny perfection.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's corny.
Right, I love that.
He didn't give me that representation. I'm an awkward teen. He was like a very just dark and like brooding, like more DC. He just was very not awkward, how I wanted to see Peter Parker.
You're telling me that Spider-Man 3 dance wasn't awkward to you?
Yeah, dude, I love that shit.
Your generation.
Controversial
especially,
take,
you
yeah.
See that
For
you
real.
guys don't really like the dark gritty because
I like the dark gritty.
Everyone just wants happy stories.
Yeah, everything that's going on right now. You don't.
I
wanna
like the
see
dark
even
gritty so much
darker.
better.
Depression
You wanna see-
personified.
Yeah, more whimsical. Yeah, exactly.
I think DC kind of shows people like what they already see in humanity. They're like, wow, are our cities actually like this? Like, is this actually happening? I feel like people kind of get
She's right,
scared
but, like,
and they're like,
she's
yeah, I
gotta
don't
stop.
want to deal with that.
This is like some like she's pulling some like socio-political shit out. I don't know. I don't like it. Keep it to the college classroom, you know.
Let's run real quick.
Do you think
It's just
our
the fact
characters
that
are more
especially me
relatable?
growing up, that I could just look at like these different heroes. Like I was like, I'm not built like no Captain America, but I can relate to him in the heart. It's what
Yeah.
matters. And so I'm just like, just seeing every character. I'm like, oh, wait, that's me. Oh, wait, that could be me. Oh, that could be me. And I'm just like,
No.
I've just experienced that with Marvel. And that's why I
No.
was just like, let me just run up in here real quick.
Peter Parker,
I
having
actually
anxiety.
disagree.
It's so relatable as a teenager and seeing another teenager.
Newer
with all
stuff
these
maybe,
superpowers, and
maybe
he's
newer
like,
stuff.
I'm just a kid, like I'm just trying to go to school.
Newer
like,
characters are more
I need a
like
break.
they're like
It's
built
kind of a
out
combination
emotionally.
between the comics, the TV shows, the MCU in total. When you humanize a character first and then introduce their abilities, you not only give the audience
Smart.
time to relate to them and attach
All right,
themselves to
Wait, Chad, this is real? Because when in the first Captain America movie, Captain America, the First Avenger, I think it is. Yeah. When he's skinny, when he's like a skinny little runt, and he's trying to join the army, right? That's me. That was literally me. That still is me. You know, so like that's actually relatable. So I could see it. I could see
the
it.
character, but you give them
Yeah,
an
like you,
opportunity
yeah.
to see them pre, superpower, pre, amazingness. Things like that, just make Marvel just a bit more relatable to me.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true because DC does the
There is an
opposite. They
element
kind of
to
just toss you
DC
into
that
it.
I get that they are unrelatable. Superman really is the most obvious because he's overpowered from
Yeah.
another planet, all these things.
Yeah, that's
but
real.
at the same time, at the core of all that is this unbreakable goodness.
Like Superman, one of the things I always found really endearing is he comes from a different planet. He has unlimited power, but at the same time, once he met Ma and Pa Kent, he fell in love with like the family and being a high schooler and learning how to acclimate. And so at the end of the day, they are dealing with the same human and basic problems and conflicts that we have,
I think that's where Zach really tried to
Yeah.
tie it all in. It's with Batman vs Superman. DC fans hated. They were
Yeah,
not
that was
about
really
it. And
shit.
it's just like
That was
Don't worry,
really
we
bad.
did too.
everyone hated it. Exactly. People were not a fan of it, but it's just like he tried to humanize these characters,
Yeah.
and that was really an important step to take because with Superman, Batman, they were never shown to have a
That's an
breaking
interesting
point.
take. I didn't watch the
He-
movie,
he
so I
showed
wouldn't
him
even know.
as the villain.
Fallible
essentially.
too.
I just thought it
But
was
also
trash
going
from the
back
start.
to
The trailer.
representation and relatability, like Asian. Not many Asian superheroes, but with Shang Tsung and all these other characters, I would give props to Marvel. And as long as it's not forced, like shoved down people's. That's what I really don't like. But as long as it's not shoved down people's throats and like you're gonna have to digest this, then I'm all for it.
When you guys did bring on Peter Parker and Spider-Man stuff like that, me being from New York, and so I was just like,
Yo, my
I see him
man.
and I see me. At the time, I was like, oh,
Valid.
I want to go to this college too, and I want to go here, and I want
Yeah,
to do
that's
that.
valid.
And then like,
See
I
that?
hopefully do get bit by a spider on the way there. So I'm just like, okay, cool.
I genuinely, as a kid, like having what I felt like my own superhero backstory was like losing a parent at a young age. being kind of a caretaker to her, my mom, when I was 15, and still losing that person, it rewired in my brain many things, one of which was take care of other people and put yourself second, put everybody else first.
Your own little hero
to
story.
never
Yeah.
show the crack in that it's actually crippling you trying to be perfect. Because I did always try to say, like, when you see me, you're gonna be like, how does he just fly through life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was healthy.
Trying to create a superhero
wasn't.
complex. It's not.
And then once I realized that I actually could be vulnerable, I could be broken, and that being broken is more beautiful and makes you more powerful, that sort of opened up the floodgates of finding
veered
those
off topic,
things in the
but I
DC
got it.
characters. And I think the writers, especially now in comics, are going that route.
My fan community can be toxic.
Marvel. That's all Marvel. No way they stand up for DC. DC community is like, they just want to be
You want to
saved.
talk about a no-brainer question?
I was gonna say, I think we can all agree that every fan community can be toxic.
I mean,
Yeah.
even
That's true.
if
Anyone can be
it's
toxic,
something
but
as
definitely Marvel
simple
fans.
as
Like, Marvel fans are
someone's
vigorous.
title changing or someone becoming a new hero, you immediately get the people on Twitter just being like, I hate this person. I honestly feel really bad for
Twitter.
Brie Larson because she got the brunt of it during that whole Captain Marvel phase.
I didn't even watch that movie.
Personally, I liked her. I think
I
she's a
didn't watch
great
the
actress.
movie.
I think
I
she's
understand what the problem is.
I don't either.
I'm not a big fan of the character, but I was like, this is fun.
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
want to
exactly. It's like when you dehumanize the actor and treat them as they're only that.
Right.
That's not being a fan.
Yeah.
That's being an ass.
I remember
movie was pretty good,
when
was it
Black Panther
actually?
came out, a lot of
I just
people
didn't watch it
refused to
because I
see
just
they
didn't
called-
think
they said
it
it's a
looked
PC
good. I
movie.
just didn't think it looked good.
It's like there's so much vitriol in different corners.
People-
like
yeah,
to
I know
believe
that,
it's not
yeah.
most people.
They're
But
they're
like
really awful
the
to it.
loudest voices on social media are like always
worst.
there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that get attention.
Right.
Yeah, even the Black Panther, anything like this is supposed to be a black Superman coming out, and people are gonna be
Yeah, I
like,
heard
oh
about
yeah,
that.
that's born of the political correctness. But there's been iterations of
Well,
black
also,
Yeah, of
Superman.
it's comic books, so why not?
Yeah, it's like it's not only limited
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just white people.
That is
and
rude.
it's
There's a
like-
multiverse for a reason.
Yeah, it's a multiverse, exactly.
Well, I get toxicity on my end just for being a girl. And like you guys are
I can't even
predominantly,
imagine that.
I mean, it's all males.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've never been like directly targeted at, but I definitely do get the sense of like, oh, you're a female? You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea.
Oh, over, like,
you're
comics
younger?
and
You
stuff
don't
like
know
that?
What you're talking about.
I guess.
I really probably could have came with everybody. I think the only
This guy's
reason
like, yeah,
why
I'm
I
late to the
didn't
party, I
was
guess.
because it was prefaced by saying my community. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram, and so I'm ignorant to it. I guess is what
Living
it
under a
is.
damn
I had
shell.
a weird situation. You know, I would be, I guess, more in the jock category growing up, in the sense of that was more my reputation, I suppose. But anyone who knew me and any of my friends came over to my house, like when I started dating, like in high school, and the girls came over to my house, I had action figures everywhere. You know, so the jig was
That's me with the
up, you know,
Legos, dude.
it's
That's
like,
really-
you
that's
know, This is
me.
really who I am and what I'm really about, and
My
I always
man.
found I got a great reaction from
Bring
that.
him to the-
I think if
bring him to the
people
bedroom with the
buy too
Legos,
much into
the action
the
figures,
toxic
the
nature
Funkos.
of Marvel versus DC or whatever the movie is and their gripes on it, they're losing a chance to focus on the positive of the
Nice
character and
man,
why they love
smile,
it.
yeah.
My side would win in a fight.
Marvel fans are gonna stand up for that one, of course.
For it. Oh, wow.
What?
They know too.
They know.
It's good. They know what's up.
They know the place.
I think that's why the conversation is Marvel connects more with like the real person, because DC does feel like titans. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And to me,
That is
comic books
true.
are American mythology. I heard that somewhere in a documentary.
That's
It's true.
fair.
You know, we don't have like an American mythos outside of like Paul Bunyan and like some silly stuff. It's superheroes is really what it is. And
Nerdy,
Superman,
yeah,
Batman,
yeah.
Wonder Woman, these like you know,
Nazi.
Atlas holding the world on their
agree.
shoulders figures. It's like it's always them. Batman's like plan to defeat everyone is just I'm Batman.
Yeah.
And everyone on Earth goes, he's right.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna get down to the brass of it, you know, pissed off Superman. Good
Oh,
luck.
yeah.
Someone taking out the big
Superman-
dog.
I always see
Superman
these
can literally
videos
just
on
take
YouTube
out
of,
everybody.
Oh yeah, Superman versus Hulk, or Batman versus Iron Man. And it's like it's all made up. People have their own.
And listen, until Superman fights Goku, we know that's the real.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All delusional.
I've seen that shit before.
I mean, this isn't even a question. Like, the Justice League is way overpowered. Like, way overpowered.
Right.
I would just say their brutality is a lot more severe compared to Marvel characters. That was like the only thing that came to mind. I was
That's fair.
saying
I agree with
MCU is a little bit more light and fluffy, so they have a little bit more humanistic like thoughts, and I just feel like they would completely just destroy them. Unfortunately, yeah.
I guess my only
Yeah, Marvel
question
would be like,
if you want to pick
but our
one person versus another
morals,
person,
and
you
DC
know,
would be like,
the whole argument that I
die.
hear a lot with
Literally.
DC fans is Batman with prep time.
Always wins.
What is that argument? Because he's just a dude.
I've never made that argument because honestly, the argument is usually he's already had the prep time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's always the twist. Is
So you
everyone's
just
like,
assume he's already figured it
Batman's
out?
prepared for every
Yeah.
his mind is like, I've calculated
He's
17
supposed to
million
be
outcomes.
prepared, yeah.
Like if
He's
they,
Doctor Strange essentially.
he's Doctor
without the time
Strange.
limit.
Yeah, like
Oh,
if they
okay.
were together in a movie and Doctor Strange was like, I saw these outcomes, he'd be like, yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And as a reader too, not just a viewer, I do get bored of that. You know what I mean? Because then there's almost no stakes. It's just like Batman knew all along. I was like, oh cool, so it didn't even matter, you know?
What I liked about Infinity War and the Snyder Cut was the level of dread you felt for the characters and what they were having to go through in order to get to their goal, and their goal was not ultimately met. Especially with Infinity, I got so emotional at Infinity War, and my head literally hurt after watching that. Like having the characters be vulnerable, like not having them at their peak. Is very important for the audience to be able to relate and to be able to feel for the characters.
True.
Martin Scorsese said Marvel movies are not cinema. Step forward if you agree. Now step forward if you disagree.
Not cinema. That's more like a film.
Well,
a
what does
film
he know
theory
about making
take.
movies? Right? I think we all are going to disagree pretty heavy with that one. If you look at not just the numbers and not just the worldwide success, but also the stories and the emotions and the ebb and flow of the storytelling, I think they're definitely not only cinematic, but some of the best examples
So they're
of
extremely
art
cinematic,
that
like,
a worldwide
that makes them
audience
cinema, doesn't
of
it?
different ages and a lot of different people can come together and watch and enjoy. You know, where maybe sometimes a more boutique or arty film might not have that same, response.
Yeah. I think the second you try to put ground rules on what art is, you fundamentally don't understand. You're missing the point of art.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
Like, how do you
I
define
agreed.
cinema?
Right.
You can't.
Right.
I was
There's
like,
no,
I don't know what the
clear-cut
fucking definition of it is.
Oh, okay, this movie is
Something you
cinema,
watch in
but,
a theater,
Shrek
like,
2
I don't
is
know.
not. Like, it's
High cinema.
high cinema. But it's that type of thing where if you decide that things have limits, you're already not only limiting the audience, but you're limiting creative freedom.
some
You know,
theory
if someone
here.
comes along and says, "Oh, that's not cinema,"
I'd agree, though.
What are you telling the future filmmakers that what they want to do is not?
I don't care
considered
all this
cinema?
crap. To me,
You're
it's like if you see it in a movie
immediately,
theater, it's
trashing
cinema,
what
right?
these new people want to do.
It brings people together is the biggest thing. I think a cinema can do that. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, me and my dad watch it together. Me and my mom, me and my friends, and we're all different ages. That's like the point of cinema.
Yeah.
So.
Obscure art films only want to see cinema? Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Obscure art films. That was a good clap. Did you hear that? That was a good handshake. He dapped him up nice. Good video, good video. That was pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Honestly, that was pretty cool. Alright, I'll give my take. Right? DC, before Disney Plus, DC has dominated the TV realm of, you know, superheroes. Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, they're doing like a couple others as well now, all in the CW. They're doing right now Superman and Lois, and there's one other one, it's like Kung Fu, I think it's called. They're all DC TV shows on the CW. DC also had Superman, which ran from God knows how long, as like probably back, I don't know, the like 50s, 60s, some shit. Like, I don't know, a long time. Old Batman, all those comics. I would say DC Comics is probably bigger for a while, at least in terms of, because Superman and Batman. But I wouldn't really know too much. I was a Marvel Comics reader. I have a lot of Marvel Comics in my room. But DC definitely dominated television for a long time. Now at Disney Plus, I would say that Marvel is swinging into high gear. They're trying. I think eventually, I think they will have more success than they have or already, just because Marvel has the grab, and the cash. Um, the Marvel shows so far have been okay. They've been okay. I mean, like Loki is pretty good. The Scarlet Witch one is pretty good. Um, that was pretty good. I mean, they're taking a different approach. They're taking a different approach to them, different style. It's like humorous but action still. It's but more focused on the humor and like the character development. I think Marvel's trying. They're not quite there yet, but they're trying. Movie wise, Marvel is 100% better, and I think they always will be, or at least for a long time. Just simply because DC, not because DC's dark and gritty, because I love the dark and gritty. I love the Batman, like Dark Knight trilogy. That's amazing. But the newer DC movies are too CGI'd. Too, it feels like they're too color corrected too. I don't know what it is, but everything pops. Everything's too vibrant. It's like they don't have a like usually like we complain that there's a filter on film. No, no, no. Like DC has like this vibrance added to it that like makes like freaking Aquaman is like shining bright like there's sun reflecting off snow. It's like I don't want to watch it, man. And everything's too CGI'd in the DC universe. They need a DC movies need to calm down the effects and bring it back to what I can fathom as realistic, but without being non superhero ish. You know. Um, but yeah, that's my take. I think they're both really good. DC has some catch up to do for movies. Marvel has to catch up to do for TV shows. Overall, though, I think Marvel takes the cake. That's just me. More people are invested in Marvel. It's true. But yeah, good video, good stuff. That was cool. I actually enjoyed that. That was pretty fun.